What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfellow back with the Boxing Clinic afternoon grind. Y'all know what it is. Got some fights coming on tonight and Sunday. Tonight you got Jorge Corrales taking on some guy from Puerto Rico, which I think he lost his belt on the scales. And you got Demetrius Andrade taking on Lantes Fox. I think it's the fight of the night. Co-feature on HBO tonight. Check your local listings for time. And then you got the Nadal Mariota rematch Sunday. So that's something to look forward to. It's going to be on ESPN2, I believe. And, they had a question that went around the boxing group. Shout out to the championship rounds. Shout out to them. It was a question like, who's a better businessman, Oscar De La Hoya or Al Haymon? And I almost coughed up a lung. I really almost did. Because this is not a contest. Oscar De La Hoya is not a real businessman, in my opinion. When I talk about businessman, people say, oh, yeah, Golden Boy. He wasn't the main component of Golden Boy business-wise. The main component was Richard Schaefer helping him start this company. He was a very major component. Oscar knew the boxing game. He knew about how to recruit the talent. And you can't shortchange him on that, but that's the boxing game. We talking about businesses and finances and hashing out deals. Then we're talking about, Richard Schaefer and who had the fighters to bring over the Golden Boy. It was Al Haymon. Even the fighters that he didn't have to sign the Golden Boy, he fought on the under the Golden Boy banner on a fight-by-fight free agent basis. You know what I'm saying? Without Richard Schaefer and Al Haymon, Golden Boy was nothing. Let's just keep it frank. Nothing. Al Haymon, Oscar De La Hoya just had a vision. And certain guys have a vision, idea, and they're very important to the grand scheme of a very important, business. They are. Because without Oscar De La Hoya seeing that Top Rank was fudging him around, and seeing that he could have made more money as a promoter and been a fighter's promoter fighters promotional company more than a promotional company that really didn't look out for his fighters like Top Rank, with more of a business and being a promotional company for the fighters. That was Oscar De La Hoya. And he had the main idea, so you can't shortchange him. He had the idea, but the guys that was integral parts to the business that helped Golden Boy get to the top at one point in boxing and compete and kind of dominate Top Rank over the years was the combination of Richard Schaefer and Al Haymon. Let's just keep it real. Now, with Richard Schaefer, we're going to see what he goes on to do, because he still works with Al Haymon with the PBC banner now with Ringstar Sports. So we're going to see what he goes on to do. Can he duplicate his success that he had with Oscar De La Hoya at Golden Boy? Because just as Richard Schaefer taught Oscar a lot of things about the money and the finances wise, Oscar taught Richard Schaefer a lot about the boxing business side of things as well. But when you're talking about finances and the roster, it was basically Richard Schaefer and Al Haymon that really was running Golden Boy. You seen when Oscar had his little problem and issues with the cocaine or whatever, Golden Boy didn't miss a beat. It was on top. It was only when he came back and took control of his company that they started preparing to get guys out of Golden Boy, and they took all the roster with them, and then they agreed to give some of the fighters back, like Matisse, Leah Santa Cruz, who got bought back out by Al Haymon. That, Golden Boy started to fall off the map a little bit. And they never will be where they was at with Richard and Al Haymon again. They will never be like that again. Because Al Haymon tried to buy Golden Boy for $100 million. Oscar said no. So at the end of the day, he created a PBC banner. And, it was a cold summer out there for Oscar De La Hoya. He's still trying to be on the uprising. Then the racist emails came out. So you really think that he's going to get black fighters who, predominantly dominate the boxing game right now to come fight on his banner? Absolutely not. It's the reason why Earl Spence said no. Nobody's going to sign with Oscar De La Hoya unless it's a gravy train of a deal. And he ain't giving out them deals because at the end of the day, he don't have that clout right now. And if, Canelo falters, and then that's it. That's basically all he got. And he got a lot of good prospects coming up from Mexico. But Al Haymon is by far the better businessman. You look at him, he's a Harvard, alum, same as Bob Arum. They can't sue him because he got his business in order. He's said to own the UFC now secretly. And that's why they had their first UFC fight in New York, and he made it happen. That's how powerful he is. All those other billionaires that own the UFC, they reached out to him, and they end up getting a fight in New York where they couldn't even get it sanctioned at. He was a music tour promoter, and the only reason he got in the boxing was Vernon Forrest begged him to get in boxing, and and that's how he got into boxing, because of Vernon Forrest. He beat Shane Mosley, and that was the start of Al Haymon in his reign in boxing. He's the most powerful man in boxing, like it or not. Like it or not, and he's very young in the sport of boxing too, as well. You know, he done sold the game up, and everything basically runs through him. He made Showtime a fortune, and by him rising the boxing game on Showtime, CBS, Fox, it made HBO step his game up. I think they really was contemplating pulling out of boxing because they couldn't breathe without him because he was dominating everything. He was holding everything up. And when Top Rank left, I thought they was going to die. But now they start back working with him. Now HBO stepping their game up. But it's clear it's Al Haymon. But, you know, a lot of y'all guys going to try to say something different. But it is what it is. We out.